There's no way around it. When it comes to healthcare, people are really frustrated with how much it costs and how to pay for it. That's why Medi-Share is such a welcome relief. It's called healthcare sharing. More than 1 million Americans are already doing this, and you could save thousands of dollars a year on your healthcare and be happy. Imagine that. So find out more at medishare.com/Kirk. That's medishare.com/Kirk, or just text the word KIRK, Kirk, to 70246. That's Kirk to 70246. If you just had to gauge with amongst your peers, 50%, 60%, how many of your peers, let's say conservatives, and then maybe include liberals there, how many are supportive of the U.S.-Israel relationship?
Not
Gosh,
many.
on campus, it is slim, both left and right wing. I'm honestly having trouble meeting people, conservative or liberal, that currently support the Israeli regime or their invasion of Palestine. It is very hard to find people supportive right now.
Okay. Yeah, we won't quibble on the use of the word invasion, but you know, it's certainly different people would frame it differently, right? What about you, Dino?
I mean, I agree. It's slim to none. Look, I'm not a big fan of everything that's going on with Israel. Like I said on the Charlie Kirk, the big roundtable that we did a couple months ago, like I find it insulting when we send money to all these foreign countries when we've got such huge issues in our country, be it the fact that we can't, feed our veterans. We've got thousands of homeless people. The economy sucks. I mean, we need to be making strides on this. And it isn't specifically the fact that it is Israel for me. It's just the fact that we are too bogged down talking about foreign policy right now when we have such massive domestic issues that we need to tackle. And those are the things that move the needle for voters the most.
And if you could quickly summarize, why do you think it's Israel over other countries?
I think right now a lot of it is the algorithm. I think people are getting fed this content from like more alt-right creators, and really all they talk about is Israel. So that's really all they see online. I think also it's because there was such a stigma behind talking about it in American politics for a long time, because the lobby is very strong, as I talked about back on the panel as well in the summer. So it had this big stigma. And now that the Overton window is kind of shifting, people are allowed to talk about it more now. So you get these like radicalizing elements that really do kind of corrupt our young generation, because it's so easily to attach yourself to it without really knowing what they're talking about.
Yeah, and go ahead, Dino.
Right. I pretty much completely concur with everything that Brady just said. I'm going to tack on this little bit at the end here, and that is that I think a lot of us, we want a reason to be upset sometimes. Some people, they want to get out their anger, their frustrations. Perhaps it's because they haven't been reading their Bible. Perhaps they've got something going on in their life. And Israel's just a soft target for a lot of people because they know that if they go on social media and they start dogging on Israel, they're going to get clicks. That's not to say there's not legitimate criticisms. There are legitimate criticisms, but it's certainly not the biggest issue for United States today. It's just one that people are easily able to sort of take out their anger on, as far as I'm concerned.
You know, a funny thing I talked to Charlie about this is sometimes an issue it takes on a life of its own, and that issue has been one. It's funny because it's not a new thing. I remember them talking about it a ton when I was growing up in the early 2000s. People were talking about it a ton in the 80s, in the 70s, in the 60s, all the way back to the 40s. It is an issue that has repeatedly gotten people to fixate on it. And you can think there's other issues like that. You know, a lot of the entire, gay rights movement thing was a lot like that. People would just, for a while, they really fixated on it and they thought it was of huge moral salience and importance. And I think the Israel thing is kind of like that. It becomes a little subset where what you feel about it reflects how you feel about the world, and it's like very easy to heavily moralize in both directions, and it's really easy to get extremely angry and extremely passionate about it. And at the same time, for most people who are engaging with it, they have no direct personal stake. It is something on the far side of the world. It's like, for some people, it's practically like arguing about the plot of a television show. For others, it's not, but for a lot of people, it is. And so I think it's an issue that it's very easy to feel intense moral righteousness about, and that causes people to fixate on it, and it's not likely to go away. Where I would disagree is I don't think it's algorithmically driven in the sense that it was created by China to divide us. I know some people say that. I think it's algorithmically driven in the sense that successful algorithms give people content they want to see that will keep them coming back. And it turns out that's content people just love engaging with over and over and over again.
I do think there's some strong evidence that there's a lot of foreign bots involved and a lot of like
Probably.
ginning up
They are.
of-
They
of-
are,
and,
but-
and it's giving people a reward cycle online. They get clicks, they get comments, a lot of which are bots, but they see those engagement numbers and they go, "Ooh, let's go back to it."
It's so easy to say my opponents only believe this because they're paid to do it or because of foreign propaganda.
I don't believe
and we
that.
had that with the Trump thing. You guys are so young. You might not remember 2015 and 2016 when it was Russian bots who made people support Trump. That's what the left would say. Oh, this only happened because Russia did propaganda for Trump. It's a lie. People supported Trump for direct organic reasons.
Yeah,
And-
and listen, we totally reject the Jew hate thing. There's and I do think there is a historic reason to believe, and they're repeated throughout history, to scapegoat Jewish people, to scapegoat Israel. Listen, you can have a variety of opinions on this issue. We don't believe in calling everybody an anti-Semite just because you disagree with the Likud party. Okay, that's not what we're saying. But listen, there is a heightened importance to Israel. It's wrapped up in eschatology. It's wrapped up in our shared faith. There is obviously Israel is getting attacked on all sides, candidly, by its neighbors. So there's lots baked in here. There's historical references to World War II. We have to acknowledge at some level Israel is a special case. It's an outside case.
And
I
I would just say one more thing ties into earlier on the show. Do you guys see this with Islam too? Like, what is Gen Z's thoughts on Islam right now, trying to conquer the West?
There's definitely not enough focus on it. I mean, what was it like 2 days ago where you had that whole fiasco? I think Nick Shirley getting like accosted in front of the Dearborn, Michigan City Council meeting or whatever is going on. I mean, I just went on a whole thing about this the other day, and I think that this is a whole lot more concerning to me. The fact that we're not paying attention to what's going on with Islam, because I'll tell you what, Islam is making a concerted effort to actually take over our country and change our foundational values. That's legitimately scary. And we're putting up with it because we have this suicidal empathy where we say, oh, well, they come from like these really rough parts of the world and we just need to help them. They're not here to be helped. They don't actually want your help a lot of the time. They will openly admit that they do not want to assimilate to the United States of America. The guy on the Dearborn City Council was just talking about that the other day. They don't want to assimilate.
Yeah, that was actually the mayor, I think.
Yeah, we played that. We actually played that clip earlier. We totally agree with you, by the way, that we do need to be more focused on Islam, and it's a travesty that we get distracted by these other things. Charlie was certainly highlighting it at the end of his life, and we are definitely going to be doing the same. Guys, it's been wonderful having you. I think I really genuinely mean this. I hope people are hearing what you have to say. The H-1B focus from you guys. I hope people in power are listening. I'm going to send the clips to people in power and to help make them listen, because I do think it's a generational. Wouldn't you say, Danny? It's like generationally, Gen Z out punches beyond its weight class here, and how
it's
fixated they are.
One of the only policies where it's directly taking your job. First, the other ones lead to that potentially, but this H-1B directly affects our generation specifically.